Welcome to Southern Dragon Systems, Qigong, Meditation and Philosophy with Professor Graham Williams. The following is a tutorial on anger management. It will include a detailed explanation and a description of anger and a strategy of how to defeat it. We're going to break it down, re-engineer it, discover its methods, its tactics, and where it gets its energy. We're going to look for its weaknesses and learn how to exploit them. Then we're going to do an exercise, an experiment, an introduction into hypno meditation, where we will discover our true power. Have there been times when anger has completely consumed you? When you found yourself out of control? Then keep listening to this tutorial. As a martial artist, I see anger, fear, anxiety and depression as opponents that need to be overcome. All four, that is, anger, fear, anxiety and depression, should be viewed as adversaries, as enemies that want to take control of your life. If you've ever suffered from any of these four things, then you'll know exactly what I mean. At times, it's as if we're two people. The following techniques have been known and taught within the martial arts world for thousands of years. It's a proven method. It works. Now, in saying this, anger and fear do have their positive side. For example, anger is a guard when someone wants to hurt you. It can give us strength and aggression to help us overcome a stronger enemy. It can empower us. It can charge us. It can give us a sense of control. It can drive us to meet our goals or safeguard our values. It can also lead us to self-improvement, or it can be used as a motivational force. However, this is only if we can control it and not it control us. So under these circumstances, anger can be a good thing. It can heighten our awareness and focus our attention, but only if it is an imagined threat and not an actual reality-based threat. The following techniques have been known and taught in the martial arts world for thousands of years. It's a proven method. As a psychotherapist, I will be applying theories of fight psychology. Fight psychology refers to the psychological and physiological responses associated with the fight, freeze, or flight response. When faced with danger, our bodies prepare to either confront the threat, freeze, or flee from it. Fight psychology can teach us how to overcome these responses and choose the most appropriate reply to suit the situation. Fight psychology teaches us to study our opponent, discover its strategies, look for its weaknesses, know its strengths, look for counter moves, and take the offensive. Antisthenes, a Greek philosopher, said, "Pay attention to your enemies, for they are the first to discover your mistakes." We need to apply this same principle with our enemies. We have to discover our enemy's mistakes and weaknesses. This means knowing your opponent, and in this case, knowing yourself. We'll look at this later. As a Qigong practitioner, I employ breathing techniques, movement, and focused imagination. Qigong is known as moving meditation. It is a combination of external exercise, relaxing the body, internal focus, and the calming of the mind. It is when we combine these three practices that we can stand and re-establish control over our own existence. The meditation I'm using is known as healing meditation, or in some circles, hypnotherapy. I prefer to call it hypno meditation. To start with, anger is an emotion, a very intense and strong psychological feeling, to say the least. It is usually triggered when something has gone wrong or someone has wronged us. Sadhguru said, call it guilt, fear, anger or hatred. Essentially, it means your thoughts and emotions are working against you. When we are angry, we go through both psychological and biological adjustments, which we'll also look at later. Anger is a judgment, and usually the result of disrespect, personal threats, or perceived injustices. And most of the time, it is the product of unresolved or unaddressed pain. As anger rises, our minds fall victim to these judgments, and we become overwhelmed and sometimes to the point of uncontrollable rage. We essentially fall victim and become prisoners of our own minds, of our own making, and of our own design. Efren Fernandez, a professor of psychology at the University of Texas, said, anger has been viewed as a motivational force to be harnessed, as well as the most destructive of all emotions and the bane of human relations. Anger can motivate us to action, but it can also be the wrong action. It can be a very damaging force, both for ourselves and to others. If your anger is focused on someone rather than something, then we have two opponents to contend with, a literal and objective person and the subjective, internal adversary. We need to deal with this internal opponent first and foremost. It is literally a competition going on within us for the right to stand in control. It is this inner opponent that is our biggest problem. We can walk away from our literal opponent, but we can't walk away from our inner self. It is this self that causes the biggest problems because it lives within us. I think it's safe to assume that anger is an unpleasant experience for all involved. Anger is not only related to, but shares company with fear, sadness, shame, guilt, anxiety, and depression. Anger, anxiety, and depression all use the same method of attack. Anger is a usurper, a supplanter, and in order to do this, it has to hijack our energy systems because it depends on our energy systems to function. So we're going to have to learn to take the controls back. We're going to approach it from a different angle. We're going to confront it and frustrate it and block its attack. We're going to deliver a counterattack of our own. Buddha said, self-control is strength, right thought is mastery, and calmness is power. We've got to get to the point where our mood doesn't shift based on the actions of somebody else. Don't allow others to control your direction. Don't allow your emotions to overpower your rationale. We're going to look at this also from a martial arts perspective as an internal self-defense system, as a way of protecting our minds. We're not going to simply defend ourselves, we're going to go on the offensive and we're going to fight back. We're going to put anger onto the back foot. That is to say, cause it to back up and put it on the defensive. We're going to strip it of its power. Now be aware, this is not to say that anger will not fight back, because it will. It's not going to sit there and submit and just give up without a fight, and fight it will. It's going to try again and again. It's used to winning, not losing. The hypno meditation that I teach is a battleground. It's our internal ring. It will require training. We're going to look at it and treat it as if it's an opponent or an enemy. Lewis Hay, an American motivational speaker, said, "The power is within you. It always has been. How far are you willing to expand the horizons of your thinking and stir that power awake? The power is within you. Expand the horizons of your thinking." She goes on to say, the more you connect to the power within, the more you can be free in all areas of your life. This power within is your focus. It's your desire. It's your insight. This inner opponent can take many forms. They are our beliefs, our doubts, our fears, anxieties, depressions, or anger, our insecurities. The aim of this hypno meditation is to hit anger where it hurts most, using martial arts theory. We are going to confront this inner opponent head on, face to face, and strip it of its power. This is not a passive meditation. It is an active working of the subconscious mind and body. Eckhart Tolle, a well-known author and spiritual speaker, said, "True power is within, and it is available now." This power will become the backbone. It will become your superpower. Om Swami, another Indian guru, says, "If your own thoughts cannot provoke you, nothing external can provoke you either. Every external occurrence triggers an internal thought that may alter your state of mind. If you can just be the spectator and not the reactor or an adopter of the thought becomes powerless. If we stand back and observe, witness, and not simply react, we would see it as it is. If we do not adopt, approve, or accept these negative thoughts, they will become powerless. I like that. If we're going to adopt this principle, then we need to create a safe space. A space where we can safely reflect and respond. A space where we can become aware of what's going on inside us, where we can address the issues. A space to adjust our mindsets, our beliefs, our perspective, our attitudes, our responses, where we can build a strategy. And meditation offers us this space where we can see our anger from a different perspective, as an observer and not as a participant. A space where we can train and record new strategies and new mind tracks, new paradigms, build new neurological pathways. With time, you will find that you can utilize this method right in the midst of battle, in the heat of the moment, and within seconds, your mood can change. It's possible. I've proven it. The question is, who's in control? Who do you want to be in control? You or your anger? Remember this, we own and are responsible for at least 50% of any conflict. Don't allow your opponent to control your anger. You control your ego, your self-worth, and your self-esteem. If we can't control ourselves, we are not in control of the situation. As Pythagoras put it, in anger we should refrain both from speech and action. As it's been said, don't make permanent decisions based on temporary feelings. Knowing that emotions are temporary brings us to an important choice. We can react quickly to driven by emotion, or we can pause, step back, take a breath, or maybe two. Take a second to look at the situation and look from a calmer mindset before making any big decisions. We can choose to react, act, or postpone the decision. Pythagoras also said, "No man is free who cannot command himself." If you can't control yourself, you are a prisoner. You are under the command of another. No man is free who cannot command himself. The truth is, the calmer we are, the more we are in control. If we can't control ourselves, we are less likely to be able to control the outcome, because our actions and reactions are driven by impulse rather than deliberate choice. If your opponent is angry, then the odds are he's lost control. If you can control yourself, then you can influence or impact at least 50% of the situation. If we can't control ourselves, then how can we control our opponent? This comes from an unknown author. He states, "When you can't control what's happening, challenge yourself to control the way you respond to what's happening. That's where the power is." Quiet, assertive confidence is a far better option than anger. It's our best ally. Bruce Lee said, "One of the best lessons you can learn in life is to master how to remain calm." Calm is a superpower. The strategies and the methods that I am sharing with you work. I have proven them on several occasions, but that's another story for another time. We need to learn to recognize the signs, the indicators. What triggers our anger? What's happening in our body? What are our thoughts at the time? Does it start small and gradually rise? Or is it just one outright explosion? As we learn to recognize these subtle indicators, these feelings of frustration, we can head them off at the pass and address them earlier rather than later. We need to recognize and know this. We need to acknowledge these feelings and not ignore them. We can't just shove them under the rug and hope that they will disappear. And we can't just shove them back into the corners of the subconscious mind, because recorded anger can rise its ugly head in the most inappropriate times. Besides the obvious consequences, like being punched in the mouth, there is another danger to consider, and that is the internalization of anger. By internalizing your anger, that is to say, suppressing it, it just compounds the internal struggle. I like this quote from Buddha. "Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die." He also said holding on to anger is like grasping hot coals with the intention of throwing it at someone else, and you are the one that gets burned. What many of us do is internalize our anger. We suppress it, and we don't address it. It's stored away and compressed like a spring, and it's still alive within us, just waiting for the opportunity to explode. When things are under compression, they tend to internalize and express themselves as low self-esteem, negative thought spirals like depression and anxiety. Buddha also said, "You will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger." Anger needs to be addressed and dealt with, or it's going to deal with you, and you're not going to like the outcome. It will punish you. If you just push it aside, it'll push back internally. Think about that for a second. So what can we do to manage this situation? How do we deal with it? Continue listening to this tutorial and find out. Whenever you experience anger, take notice of 4 things in particular, because these 4 things teach us how to confront and defeat our opponent. First thing, notice your breathing and how it's become short and shallow. Second, your heartbeat. How's your blood pressure? It's risen, it's hot. Third, the mind is focused and fixated on the object of your anger. Fourth, notice how your body has become rigid. Your facial muscles, your fists are clenched, your jaw, your toes, the sweats, you're trembling, you're alive with adrenaline, and you're on fire. Your whole body is in its grip. Anger has just hijacked your energy systems. It's raring to go. It's ready to fight, and it's taking control. Look at the symptoms. They tell us what anger needs. It needs energy. It's these symptoms that expose its weaknesses and the cracks in its defenses, and consequently show us how to defeat it. They give us insight, vital knowledge, knowledge of its strategies, and knowledge of its techniques. We know how it gets its energy, and we know how we can take it back. Anger has given orders to tap into our energy sources and to drain them. It wants everything you've got. It is simple. If anger can manipulate us, we can manipulate it by utilizing the same tactics it uses against us. There are 3 principal indicators to look for. 1. Notice your breathing patterns. 2. Where is your attention? 3. Is your body tense? 3 indicators: breath, focused attention, and your body. We can use these indicators as a 3-phase solution. Phase 1, breathing. Deep breathing brings deep thinking, and shallow breathing brings shallow thinking. Elise Lincoln Benedict. When we focus our breath, clarity of thought is the result. As this unknown author put it, each breath is a little rebirth, a renaissance, that can only be celebrated if we recognize that it is happening. As we focus on our breath, we revitalize, we re-energize, we awaken ourselves. Every spiritual practice throughout history has used breathing as its central core. It is a fundamental principle of all, because the word breath means spirit. They are the same word. They are interchangeable. Breath and spirit have been used interchangeably across both cultural and religious boundaries. When we strengthen our breath, we strengthen our spirit, our mind, our energy field, our chi. Dashimar Cohen Gordon, an international speaker and innovator in the field of yoga, health and wellness, said, "Breath is your link to life, the direct connection to your spirit." Breath, spirit, energy, chi. They can't be separated. They are integrated. They are interchangeable. Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, an Indian guru, put it like this: the breath is the connecting link between the inner world of the mind and the outer world of the body and environment. The mind is the central hub. The imagination is the master control room where everything is recorded, arranged, interpreted, constructed, formulated. Everything proceeds from the mind. Our breath, our spirit, our minds, our chi, all converge here in the control room. The spirituality that I am speaking of doesn't need faith in order for things to exist. It is demonstrable, it works, it doesn't lack any substance, it is seated in reality, you can sense it, you can see it, you can feel it, you can hear it, you can smell it, and you can touch it. I'm referring to the original meaning of spirit. It's breath. Breath is the bridge between our mind, our body, and our energy fields. It stabilizes, it balances, it regulates our internal state, emotionally, physically, and our energy flow. If chi was a river, then focus would determine its direction, and breath would regulate its current throughout the body. Whatever we focus on, we are attracted to, as it sets the direction of our intention, our purpose. George Lucas, yes, the George Lucas said, always remember your focus determines your reality. How we breathe governs the rate of oxygenated energy we receive, and this impacts our thinking, and therefore how we experience our reality. It is said that between 20 and 25% of the oxygen we breathe goes directly to the brain. This is why a lack of oxygen interferes with our mood and our concentration. Without a strong flow of energy, we feel weak, unfocused, restricted, and unable to function effectively. Our focus can redirect, restrict, and even block the energy flow because it is pointed in the wrong direction. Energy flows where focus goes, as the saying goes. Focus on the solution, not the problem. Our breathing controls the amount of energy that is carried throughout our mind and our body. Our focus and our breathing needs to work in sync with one another so that our energy flows without hindrance. Both focus and breathing affect our physiology and our psychology. Breath work moves energy. It's how it transports throughout the body. It pumps oxygen into our brain and our muscles. And in this way, we think and move better. We literally reconnect and take control of our energy system. The first thing we need to do is to change our breathing. By simply deepening and extending each breath, we take in needed energy, oxygen, life's primal energy source. It's breath, it's mind, it's spirit, it's chi. Our strength depends on how we use this spiritual power. Thich Nhat Hanh, a Zen Buddhist monk, I hope I have pronounced that right, in his book The Miracle of Mindfulness, an introduction into the practice of meditation, said, "Breath is the bridge which connects life to consciousness, which unites our body to our thoughts. Whenever your mind becomes scattered, use your breath as the means to take hold of your mind again. The breath is the bridge between life and consciousness, our bodies and thoughts. Our breath has the power to hold your mind. This breath, life, conscious connection is not only found in the Buddhist philosophy, but in Hinduism, Judaism, and mystical Christianity. It's a cross-cultural belief and practice. Phase 1, or attack 1. We use the symptoms as a gateway. as an opportunity to see and experience the enemy's tactics, its mode of attack, its methods of operation. We use our breath to interfere, to manipulate and reverse engineer the symptoms. By using our opponent's methods, we can turn the tables by reverse engineering, by working backwards, by examining and deconstructing its methods. And all this can be done by studying the symptoms. We can apply the same techniques against itself. We can deliver a counter-move and beat it at its own game by taking control of our energy systems. If we starve anger of chi, we strangle its lifeline, and now it's grasping for air. Narrative psychology theory uses a technique where they separate the problem from the individual. They do not identify the problem with the person. They see the problem as a separate identity and not as a part of the person themselves. This way the individual can see and treat the problem from a more objective perspective. Personally, I like this approach. If we treat anger as an individual, that is, as a separate identity to us, we can challenge it. Just like us, anger needs energy. It needs energy in order to maintain its dominant position. Once we have control of our breath, we deprive anger of one of its primary energy sources. Anger is now submitting to us, and we have the power. We can go on the offensive. Whenever you're angry, stressed out, anxious, or depressed, take notice of the slightness and the pace of your breathing. Our breathing is our first indicator. It tells us to intentionally change our breathing from shallow and fast to slow and deep. This is how we take control. Chi, breath, spirit, it's life's number one energy source. Anger can't survive without it. By deepening and extending our breath, we can revitalize and recharge our energy levels. By doing so, we re-establish our connection to our breath, to our chi, and to our energy supply. This energy source begins to flood our body and our minds with oxygen. And before we can go to attack number 2, take notice of how your mind and body have begun to calm. Our breathing affects our cognition, our awareness, our perception, our consciousness. Deep breathing is the central and most important aspect of this practice. It has the power to change not only your breathing patterns, but your cognitive and bodily function. So when we add attack 2 and 3, we increase the effect even further. Attack 2, focus, consciousness, cognition. This is done by redirecting our attention, that is, by refocusing our full attention, our full intention, our full purpose towards our breathing. We take the controls. Thich Nhat Hanh once again says, notice your breathing. As you breathe in, be aware that you are breathing in. As you breathe out, notice that you are breathing out. As soon as we pay attention to our breath, body, breath, and mind come together. This is where our breathing and awareness are of one mind. As we turn our minds from the subject of our anger and focus it only on our breath, we pinpoint, like a laser focus, all of our conscious mind on our breath. The more we do this, the easier it becomes. As we do this, our breath and our focus become one. They fuse, they merge, they synthesize. We now have control of 2 out of 3 of our energy sources. Focus your attention. Imagine as you breathe in the power of flooding your system. Feel it. On the exhale, imagine any weight or stress leaving. We can learn to manipulate this energy with our intention. Our breathing regulates the body, where our intention regulates our thinking. Our neurological, our central nervous system. Focus can change apathy and coldness to empathy and compassion, from anxiety to calm and reassurance. It amplifies and records what we desire. It burns a track into our subconscious programming. It gives us an alternate choice. You will start to experience mental clarity and sharper intuition. Dr. Joseph Murray says, whatever you write on the blackboard of your mind with feeling and deep interest will be transferred from your subconscious mind and brought into the world of your experience. Think about that. Whatever you write down on the blackboard of your mind with feeling, with emotion, and deep interest or intent, whatever you focus on will be transferred, recorded into the subconscious mind, and then brought into the world of your existence. I like that. Joseph Murray's law continues. The law of life is the law of belief. I'm going to repeat that. The law of life is the law of belief. We shouldn't have to look any further than depression as an example of this. Anger, anxiety, and depression all need our attention in order to maintain control. All 3 are always based on what we believe. Anger can focus us to the point of obsession. Somewhere a belief has been triggered. We need to take control of our focus. Anger, anxiety, and depression are all our opponents. They are beliefs that have formed over a lifespan. They are all generated and recorded in our subconscious mind. As they are all subjective issues, they can only be changed and addressed subjectively, intuitively, and emotionally from within our imagination. Buddha said, if you focus on the hurt, you will continue to suffer. If you focus on the lesson, you will continue to grow. If you suffer from anxiety, anger, or depression, it's because you're focusing on the hurt, on the problem, and not on the solution. The lesson is the solution. We have to focus on the lesson. What can it teach us? What can we learn? What is the solution? Anger needs a subject, a belief, an issue to focus on. It needs emotional energy. It needs emotional content. It needs to connect with our emotions. It needs emotional drive. It needs focused and emotionally charged energy on tap. So if we don't feed it what it wants, it will starve. When we give in to its demands, we lose large amounts of energy. It drains us, it sucks us dry, it leaves us with nothing to fight back with. So if we refuse to attend to its needs, if we refuse to emotionally feed the issue, we can overpower it and bring it to its knees. Buddha again, your mind will always believe what you feed it. Feed it truth, not faith. Feed it positivity, not negativity. Feed it love, not hate. By refocusing our attention, our emotional energy away from the hurt, the problem, we starve the issue. Now back to our breathing. Our intent, our purpose, and our objective is now our breathing. As we take control of our focus, we consciously and deliberately redirect our full attention toward our new objective, our breathing. The power of focused attention on our breath. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher from the 2nd century AD, said, "The mind will take the shape of whatever you frequently hold in thought, for the human spirit is coloured by such impressions." Whatever we focus on, that is to say, frequently hold in thought, we will conceive. It will take the shape of, it will form, it will generate, it will create, for the human spirit is coloured by such impressions. Our spirit, our energy is coloured, it is influenced, it is imprinted and embossed within us. Buddha once again confirms this when he said, "We are shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think." There it is again. We are shaped by our thoughts. Now listen to what Plato has to say from 428 BC. He takes it even deeper. He says reality is created by our mind. We can change our reality by changing our minds. Anxiety, anger, and depression are only perceived realities. They are what we imagine them to be. They are only our interpretation of reality. They are born out of our beliefs. As I quoted before, the law of life is the law of belief. The law of belief asserts that we do not believe what we see what we believe. Beliefs are nothing more than a mixture of facts and fictions. They are our perceptions of life. Just because you believe something is right doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it true. Attack 3, the body. As we have already taken control of our breathing and our focus, we now need to take control of our body, our third energy source. Anger is a usurper of authority, and it requires our breath, our attention, and our body to submit and obey. Therefore, we need to consciously and deliberately relax our bodies, taking back physical control. Anger lives in our body. It manifests. It needs our body to express itself. Anger is in our muscles. It's in our organs. It's in our mind. Anger needs 3 things in order to sustain itself: oxygenated fuel, breath. It needs emotional drive, focus, and it needs to inhabit our body. Anger needs to occupy, possess, and utilize our body. Anger has just hijacked our physical energy system. It's focused all of its emotional energy as adrenaline and other nasty chemicals are just injected into your body. The body is itching with alertness. You can literally feel it as it prepares itself for battle. It's literally burning energy as it goes. However, we can manipulate, we can redirect this effect by using mindfulness, meditation, hypnotherapy, or full-focused qigong, 4 very effective resources. We now have a weapon, a defense mechanism, a strategy, a formula that can be used against anger, against anxiety, and against stress and depression. and they work. Okay, we're going to do an exercise. So find a comfortable position to sit and relax. Close your eyes and take in a couple of really deep breaths and continue to breathe slowly and deeply. As you breathe, focus only on your breath, nothing else. Breathe in, deep, and slow. In through the nose, hold it for a second, and out through the mouth. Holding it again at the bottom. And in, hold, and out. The secret to breathing out is to squeeze your lips together, forming a pinhole, creating a pressure valve effect. This way we can control the speed of our outward breath. Breathing in through the nose. Hold it for a second. And out through the pinhole. Hold it. And in. And out. Remember this exercise. We will come back to it later. Now allowing your breathing to settle. A couple more times, breathing in and out. In and out. Okay, I want you to do an experiment with me. Think of something or someone that has pissed you off, but nothing traumatic. As you remember the event or person, notice the feelings, the symptoms. As you tune into the subject, the hurt, allow yourself to feel. Keep breathing. Focus on the problem. Focus on the feeling. What's happened to your breathing? Where's your focus? And what's happening in your body? Give it a minute to sense. What's happening? Take notice and recognize. Allow yourself to experience the sensations. Remember this experience. Still focusing on the problem. Now open your awareness further and see what else may be happening in your body. Recognize any tension? If so, where's the tension predominantly? What's going on? Stay with this experiment for a little while longer. Now what's going on in your mind? How is your thinking now? Negative, neutral, or positive? Feel it. Ask yourself, what might be underneath this anger? What might be its underlying cause? Think about it. Why are you angry? See if you can identify. What do you think triggers these feelings? You may discover feelings of pain, of betrayal, or maybe a perceived lack of safety. It might be the need to control something or someone. What lies beneath the surface? Could it be hurt? An injustice? Feeling threatened? Grief? Not being heard? Being disrespected? or belittled or embarrassed. Let these feelings sit with you for a minute. How's your breathing? Has it shallowed? Has it become weak? How's your body? Has it tensed up? How's your thinking? Is it disapproving? Is it discouraging? Is it depressing? Is it anxious? Is it negatively charged? Now let's take control. Let's begin by controlling our breathing. Close your eyes and begin to breathe. Deeply and slowly. Breathing in. Holding it for a second. And out. Holding it again. In. Hold it. Out. And in again. Do this several more times. In and out. In and out. One more time. Now focus only on your breath. Once more, breathe in and focus. Breathe out and focus only on your breath. Slowly in and slowly out. In and out. Can you feel the difference? Can you feel the control? If so, you've just successfully taken control. You've gained the power. Anger is now out of breath, and you've wounded it, and you've delivered a serious blow to its energy center. It desperately needs your breath and your attention to function. As you continue to breathe, turn your focus to your body. Is it tight? Scan your body for stiffness. Look at your forehead. Maybe your jaw. Your neck. Your shoulders. Your upper back. Keep breathing deep and slow. Is it tight in your chest, your lower back, your abdomen, your arms, your fists, your hips, your upper legs, your calves, your feet? If so, target the area and breathe and relax. Breathe in and out, slowly and deeply. Focus only on relaxing the affected areas. If you need to shake it out, move around a little, stretch out your arms or your legs like seated qigong. Continue relaxing your body. Breathing in through the nose and out through the pinhole. How are you feeling? You have just successfully taken control of your body. Anger needs your breath, your focus, and your body. The Buddhist philosophy teaches, look outward for knowledge and inward for wisdom. Let's see if we can find some wisdom from within. Relax. In and out. There is not a single thought or action that we perform that has not first been conceived within our imagination, within our subconscious programming. Imagination always precedes thought, as thought precedes action. The internal world is far more powerful than our external perception of it. Susan L. Taylor says, the more we nourish our internal world, the more powerful we will grow in the external world. I like that. Everything that we understand of the outside world is first interpreted within and by our internal experience. We literally live in two worlds, one of outward perception and observation, and the other an inner concept of insight, of intelligence. Our reality and our experiences are all filtered through our beliefs. They filter out anything that does not align with our psychological programming, and consequently, we don't see reality as it is, but rather how we perceive it to be. Question: other than walking away from the problem, can you control the situation? Is it within your means to change the conditions? If the answer is no, then you need to change the way you are thinking about it. If we're going to address anger, then we have to take a closer look and examine our internal state, find out more about ourselves, because breathing alone cannot remove the problem. It may temporarily control it, but it won't remove it. Socrates said, to know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. Question: why do we need to know ourselves? Answer: because it's the only way we can truly experience who we really are and where our true strengths lie. We may see things we are not proud of. Either way, we can't proceed without a true evaluation of the problem. We have to face the problem and address it. Look it in the eye, like it or not. Carl Jung, the founder of the School of Analytical Psychology, said, unless you learn to face your own shadow, you will continue to see them in others, because the world outside of you is only a reflection of the world inside of you. Until we know ourselves, we are ignorant of and powerless to change. If we're not aware of our failings, how then can we address them? Another famous philosopher named Jesus the Nazarene said, quoting from the extra-biblical account of the Gospel of Thomas, examine yourself and learn who you are, in what way you exist, and how you come to be. When you come to know yourself, then you will become known. If you will not know yourself, you will dwell in poverty, and it is you who are that poverty. Interesting words. Buddha, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Jesus, Aurelius, Jung, and many more all speak of the same thing. The answers are within. Until we know ourselves, we can't break free of our limited beliefs and think beyond our mind's schemas. We're locked into a paradigm. We need to know our weaknesses, our limitations. We need to know our strengths if we want to be able to make better decisions and change our attitude. Until we look inside and face the truth, our own truths, our own beliefs, we cannot move forward. We can't move on without knowing our own beliefs, our own fears, our failings, our feelings, our true values, and our true motivations. Looking inside may include things we might not want to know about ourselves. We may not like what we find. Lies, deception, secrets, betrayals. Aldous Huxley put it this way: if most of us remain ignorant of ourselves, it is because self-knowledge is painful and we prefer pleasure over illusion. You might find pain, abandonment, hatred, anger. Now, in saying this, you may also discover your strengths, your potentials, virtues, qualities, a new perspective, and new possibilities. If we don't want our strengths to be limited, then we need to take the responsibility for ourselves, judge ourselves, and forgive ourselves. We need to go inside, within the subconscious mind, and sort things out. Sort through the filing cabinets into the world of the imagination and face the truth. This will give us insight into our own mind and the path to enlightenment. But that's another subject. I digress. Now we're going to ask you some questions. They're designed to find out your true take on things relating to your anger. If you want to be truly free, you need to be able to face these questions and answer them honestly. Be honest with yourself. No one has to know this stuff, only you. As Vernon Howard put it, just be honest with yourself, and that opens the door. But before we do this, let's make sure that we are in control and not our anger. Breathing in deeply and out, and in and out, and again, breathing in, breathing out. Slow and deep, in and out. Now allow your breathing to settle into its natural rhythm. I want you to think about why you're angry. Is this a persistent thing? Is it a simmering anger? Is it internal? Do you hold it in? Or is it an open, public problem? If so, can you control your public displays? Does it get in the way of your day-to-day life? Are you hurting others? Are you hurting yourself? Remember what Buddha says: holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. What many of us do is internalize our anger. We suppress it and not address it. But this only leads to stronger anger. Stored anger is like a suppressed spring. It's still alive within us, and it's just waiting to spring back into action. Stored anger manifests itself as low self-esteem, negative thought spirals like anxiety and depression. This is an interesting quote by Buddha. You will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. Think about that for a second. Anger needs to be addressed. It needs to be seen to. If you just push it aside, it will punish you internally. Ask yourself, what might be the reason for this anger? What might be its underlying causes? How deep does it go? How is it triggered? Eckhart Tolle again said, where there is anger, there is always pain underneath. What lies beneath the surface? Could it be a painful experience? Maybe betrayal? Could it be a perceived lack of safety? Or a need to control something or someone? Could it be an injustice? Are you feeling threatened? Could it be grief or not being heard? Being disrespected or belittled or embarrassed? Ask yourself, have you been able to control this in the past? Or are you out of control? Now think about this next question. How much do you want to be able to control this inner opponent? Do you like this person, this self? Does it make you feel good or bad about yourself? Let these questions and feelings sit with you for a minute. How's your breathing? Is it shallow? How's your heart rate? Is it faster? Where's your focus? Are you frustrated? Annoyed? Or angry? How's your body? Is it tight? Is it hot? Let's change gears and take control. Take your focus off the problem and redirect it back to your breathing. Focus only on your breath. Allow your body and your mind to relax. Take back the controls. Breathing in, deeply through the nose and out, as slowly as you can through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Feel your abdomen. Feel your chest expand as your lungs fill with air and energy. Breath is energy, because energy is breath. Breath is spirit. Spirit is energy. The words breath, spirit, and energy are synonymous terms. They're the same thing. This is our true spiritual power. The power of our breath, our chi, our inner strength. Buddha again said, self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery. Calmness is power. Self-control is a strength, not a weakness. Right thought is mastery, commanding your own thoughts. Calmness is power. its control. Now deepen your breathing as you focus only on your breath. Hold it in between. Breathe. Focus only on your breath. Breathe. Now notice how the subject of your anger has lost its hold over you. You've just successfully taken control of your breathing, your mind, and your body, simply by focusing your attention on your breath.